Welcome back to Big Canoe Earth Sign YouTube channel. This is your guide, Migo, and today is Sunday, June 23rd, and today is actually going to be our last hike as we finish out the official Big Canoe Trails and Parks guide. We are going to finish out our series with the Blue Loop, and to access the Blue Loop, you can park here at Wildcat Park and kind of walk past the dog park, and then you can get on to the Blue Loop. So thanks for joining us today, and thanks for checking us out on this series. Again, at the entrance of Wildcat Park, there's a nice picnic area. There's also some pretty benches and some bird feeders, and apparently some really great grass. So just like the Red Loop, we start at the same place, and there's parking again on Wildcat Parkway. Over here, we're going to walk past the dog park, get onto the Blue Loop, and take the Blue Loop. All the way around it is 1.3 miles. It's an easy trail. It is paved, and really looking forward to a nice hike today. For first-time visitors to this park, you will see a sign only to Red Loop, but don't worry, this is also the way to get onto the Blue Loop. So at Wildcat Park, you're going to come up to two dog parks. The dog park on the left is for small dogs. The dog park on the right is for large dogs. They're wonderful, well-equipped dog parks. And then to get onto the Blue Loop, there is not really a sign, but you just go past the dog parks and you turn left. Left for the Blue Loop, right for the Red Loop. If you watched our video entry on the Red Loop, this will be familiar to you. You take the exit to the Red Loop is actually the start of the Blue Loop. You'll walk past the Wellness Collaborative Fit Stations. This is pretty new, sponsored by Women's Golf Association and Piedmont Mountainside Hospital. Really nice. So we are out here around 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday. Kind of the perfect time to go hiking in the summer in Big Canoe, Georgia. Gets pretty hot in the afternoon and early evening, so it's always best if you can get out before 10 a.m. and definitely bring water for yourself and for your dog friends, and maybe even a snack as you set out. After you walk by this meadow, you will see this mulched, I'll call it mulched path. This is how we exited the Red Loop at the Red Loop video entry. But to stay on the Blue Loop, you're just going to go straight. There is no sign, so just want first timers to feel comfortable where they should go. Just stay on the paved trail to get onto Blue Loop. So we have another decision to make. You can either turn left. Again, there's no signage here. It would be nice if there was some signage. Or you can go right. You can look at your trails guide and it will direct you, but we're going to stay to the right to, here's the guide. Somebody's probably really good at this kind of thing. I'm not really that great at reading maps, but I just know that this is the Blue Loop, and then you get some confirmation. There's number 2 over here. Number 1 is back kind of on that mulch trail. So the approach to get onto Blue Loop is still a little confusing, and I've probably hiked this 100 times, but this is the way that I think most of the locals take to get onto Blue Loop. Okay, so staying on Blue Loop, you are going to cross over Wildcat Trail. Just a heads up, you are going to cross a street, but this trail is totally paved and you could take a stroller on it. Some pretty plants along this trail, and overall this is very gentle. It is coded as easy. I would concur, this is pretty easy. We're going to go down a hill up ahead, but so far there haven't been any steep inclines. On the Blue Loop, we're going to come up to some nice footbridges. There's just like a little tiny stream under there. It's not running very fast today. Along the Blue Loop, you will also come up to another decision to make. You can stay straight, kind of veer to the left, or turn off to the right. Again, there's no signage here, which is different, a different style from what we've seen in Big Canoe. Usually the trails are very well marked, but if we look at our guide, we can assume that this is the Wildcat Trail access, and that's probably how you would get the access to access some of the other communities in Wildcat, such as Blue Violet. But we're going to actually just stay on the Blue Loop, which I am assuming is this way. I mean, actually, no, it's this way, but I could, at some point, I guess I could have been wrong about this the whole time, but this does get you around to a loop, so I'm going to assume this is it. We now come across another street that we're going to cross. There is a clearly marked crosswalk, which was great. And we see a kiosk up ahead. And we also see a blue trail marker for number 7, so we know we've made the right choice. This is another way to get into High Gap Park, which is also known as Joe's Trails. We hiked High Gap Park a couple of weeks ago, if you want to check out those videos. And there's a nice staircase with a sign that takes you to High Gap Park. Those are really lovely trails. They're not paved. Very different hiking experience from the Red Loop and the Blue Loop, because High Gap is all off-road. And wear your hiking boots for sure on that one, and definitely bring a snack and some water, because there's a lot to explore and you don't want to have to turn back because you don't have supplies. But we're on Blue Loop. Blue Loop is really nice. It's gentle. So you could almost describe this as a walk, because you probably will not get your shoes dirty on this one. A lot of dogs. This is also a very social trail. The Red Loop is probably the most social trail that I have found at Big Canoe. And then second would probably be the Perimeter Trail over by Wildcat Recreation Area, or the Blue Loop. We can hear some running water below that ridge, although we can't see it. Sounds lovely. It's really very peaceful back here, and the birds are giving us such a nice symphony this morning as well. It feels a little bit like if you've ever been to a zoo and maybe like the bird exhibit at a zoo. Sort of what it feels like hiking on the Blue Loop. So we also come across these little staircase here, which takes you back to another little footbridge. Let's go check that out. I don't see a sign that says private property, so I'm assuming that we can check this out, but it may turn out to be somebody's private trail to their home, which sometimes people do over here in Wildcat. It's a little bench. This is really the only off-roading that we have done so far on the Blue Loop. And of course, Migo loves the water. Checking again for snakes. Don't see any, thank goodness. This is cute. It meanders, little stream. Always love that water sound. There's some beautiful ferns back there. Came across one of these new benches that we're seeing all around Wildcat. They're really nice. And we see a sign to Blazing Star neighborhood. And there's a little, beautiful little trail. It goes up there with some gorgeous wooden steps. Really pretty. We're gonna stay on Blue Loop today, but if you wanted to get to Blazing Star, or if you live in Blazing Star, you have great access to the Blue Loop. So on the backside of Blue Loop, there is a little bit of incline between marker 10 and 11. It's still pretty gentle though. I'll show you from the top looking down. It's a little gentle, nothing to be afraid of, but did want to point that out to you because the trail is coded as easy, and just like Red Loop, it is an easy trail, but there is some incline. On the backside of the Blue Loop, after marker 11, it's absolutely gorgeous. If you love trees, you will enjoy this one. Okay, so eventually on the Blue Loop, you come out to this clearing and you have to make a decision. If you turn right, this will actually get you onto the Red Loop. We came out this way yesterday on our Red Loop hike. You will see that in the Red Loop video. We pointed out these beautiful meadows to you. And then we see this little sign here for Red Loop. But this is actually the end of the Blue Loop, or the beginning, depending on which way you start. We're just going to cross over Wildcat Parkway, and we will actually see the #1 sign for the Blue Loop. Again, I wish there was a sign here to make it a little clearer for people, but you really can't get too lost. Although if you do go that way, it will take you onto the Red Loop. Will also take you onto the Wildcat connector, so you could get all the way over to the Wildcat Recreation Area and Meadows Park. So just had an interaction with a local. We are not the only ones who have asked, where is the red trail, where is the blue trail? And somebody actually just asked us for directions. So this is what I was talking about. This is the blue marker #1, which is kind of in a different place than I would think it should be, but that's where it is. And we're coming back to this little mulch path that we saw when we first started. We're going to turn right at the mulch path. It will take us back to that fit station area, and then we'll go back to the dog park. Then back to the vehicle. Okay, coming back on the final stretch of the Blue Loop. We hope that you've enjoyed watching this video and encourage you to check out the other videos in our series. If you're curious about the parks and trails at Big Canoe in northern Georgia, just about an hour and 20 minutes north of Atlanta, and you sort of get transported into another world, one that I have really enjoyed and view as a sanctuary in many ways. We're going to have a follow-up video with some FAQs and some things that we've learned from hiking the trails. But in the meantime, hope you have fun out there and enjoy the summer.